What's up, guys? Welcome to Get Real Bass Fishing. Today, as you can see, we're somewhere different. We're not outside, we're not on the beach, and that is because the only days that I had off from work, it was either torrential downpour or right now where I planned on going out, it's blowing 60 miles an hour. So, what the heck? Alright, so we're here in the fishing room. As you can tell, we got fishing stuff all over the place. This was supposed to be the baby room. However, I baby this room with fishing gear. So don't mind all the noise if you hear something going on, if you hear a baby crying or dinner being cooked, because that is what's happening outside right now out of this room. So we're going to talk about I guess my top 3 topwater baits that I personally fish a lot with and have been actually recommended on for a couple years. This is going to be for the surf. We're going to do inshore stuff and things like that, so light tackle, lighter gear, and all that. But today we're going to be talking about the surf. So I'm going to go with probably the number one for most people is, what can I catch a lot of fish on with a budget? You know, can I spend 20 bucks, 15 bucks, 10 bucks on a topwater bait and have a blast catching topwater? You know, that's some of my favorite fishing, is when there's fish busting on top, because not only do you get to fight the fish and hook into the fish, but you get to see that fish jump out of the water, splash around, chase the bait sometimes, miss it 1, 2, 3, then go ahead and hit it. It's some of the most exciting ways to catch fish is topwater. So for the cheapest version, or I should say the least expensive version, because unless you completely abuse these and slap them against rocks, up here on my wall I actually have a damaged one. This one I fished for like maybe a year and a half without losing, and then finally smacked it against a rock up at Montauk, and now it's retired. But this is a Tsunami talking popper. This is a pencil popper. So what this is going to be able to do is basically walk around sideways, kind of like that. So every time, I'll do videos in the future where I actually have a rod and reel in my hand, and I'll teach you guys how to fish certain topwaters and certain plugs. But for the most part, you cast it out, you let it drop, reel up your slack, and you're just working the top like that. You're working your rod just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Every now and then 1, 2, pause. 1, 2, pause. Or if something's chasing it, 1, 2, go really, really quick. But you got to keep that line tight and keep that cadence. You don't want to reel in the topwater bait. For any of these, you don't want to reel it in. You want to work it and make sure the line is tight. That way there isn't any slack in the line to where you're not missing a walk, you know, like that. So this is called walking the dog. And with the pencil popper, you can basically walk the dog. It's not going to have a huge walk like a dock or like a skipper or anything like that, but it's going to be a big presence. It has BBs inside, nice high-pitched sound to it. It also has a pop. So if you wanted to work it slow, so cast it out and then pop it real quick, you can also just push off a lot of splash and it's going to do a little side dart. But that's what's cool about, for 15 bucks, you get not only just a walking bait, but also a popper. So if I know there's fish and I don't want to work the bait out of the strike zone, I'll just cast it out, let it sit, and pop. It's a lot easier to pop, I guess, sideways in my opinion. So if you got the surf rod, you just pop sideways. That way you get more of a dive out of the bait and it'll push off water, as opposed to working the bait up and down, which is going to take the bait and go like this, and it's going to walk kind of like that. So if you go sideways and down, you'll get the push, and if you walk up and down, you'll get the side to side walk. So in my opinion, that's cool. I've only broken maybe one or two of these in my entire career of surf fishing. Like I said, you're just going to abuse them on rocks and they'll crack, but for the most part they're pretty good. I have caught so many fish. Most of my topwater bites I have caught with these. We're going to jump into something that isn't a plastic bait. We're going to jump into a Gibbs. This is the Gibbs Wooden pencil popper. This is one of my favorite colors, and is bunker, because stripers absolutely love bunker. And this is a little bit more pricey. I don't remember how much this one is. I think it's either 20 or 25 depending on the local tackle shop. I think you can get them online for 20. I want to say this is the 2.5 ounce, if I'm not mistaken. But with this, it's heavy, man. It's weighted, cast out far with it, and it's just gonna go. There's no air inside of it, like room for that. Absolutely silent. So there's no air resistance from a lighter plastic bait. These are the stock hooks on them. As you can see, there's a little rust on there. They're not that bad at all. So I haven't replaced, I've lost a lot of these, mainly because of lines getting frayed at Montauk. These are really good for Montauk because when the fish are out far, you can just launch it out, and no matter what it is, blues or rocks or stripers, if you slap this against a rock or get it beat up by the bluefish or just get super feeding stripers where their teeth are scratching up everything, you don't got to worry about losing a bait. You know, whenever that stuff gets dinged up, that's all it is. It's dinged up. At the end of the season, if you don't want to retire it or do anything to it, you can sand it down, spray paint it however you want, and you still have a good plug. As opposed to a plastic, if a bluefish bites hard, slap it against a rock, you're likely to crack. But not with the wood. So this is my favorite wooden plug. This is a Gibbs pencil popper. And just like every single video and everything we ever talk about, I'm gonna link all of this down below. That way you can go ahead and purchase the exact same thing. But yeah, Gibbs pencil popper, Tsunami talking popper, plastic wood. And then we're gonna jump into something a little bit different. I was actually turned on to these by my friend Joe. We were out on Montauk. I'll link the video down below, and we had probably the best bluefish blitz I've ever experienced. Beautiful sunset at Montauk, and I was just getting far enough to catch fish. He was just with ease, bam, launching out this bait right here and having no problem reaching the stripers. I mean, the bluefish. And Erica, poor Erica, she couldn't get out far enough because she was using a plastic bait kind of like this, and she just couldn't get out far enough. But Joe was slamming fish on this. This is a GT ice cream. So this is the 3-ounce 6-inch version. This is how they come right here. So they come in a packaging like that. I actually just bought a bunch of them, so that's why he's still in packaging. But we got this, but it comes with a string and a good old hook, big, strong, beefy hook. However, when it comes to bluefish, we take these strings off. We take the rope off and we just put a big, strong split ring in there and put the hook on. Because the bluefish, they will find a way to just not be hooked anymore or attached to your line anymore. And when you're throwing out a big bait like this, I think this was $15, and all it is solid plastic, solid heavy plastic, and it's 3 ounces, so it's gonna launch really, really far. So what this one really is basically like a skipping bait. So something's trying to escape predatory fish, whether it's stripers or bluefish. That's what these are. Cast it out really, really far and start reeling it in. So this, I prefer using 1 for distance and 2 for super active fish. So if the fish are just tailing and splashing and there's bunker and whatever they're feeding on and you can see it, this is great. They come in a bunch of other sizes. I want to say it's like a 4-inch where it's like 2 ounce, 2.5 ounces, red and white, pinks, chartreuse, white and chartreuse. So there's a bunch of different colors, bunch of different sizes for these, but I like to go for the longer ones and the heavier ones. That way I can get a bigger distance between me and these fish. Because I don't want to miss fish. And if I don't have the right gear and they're right in front of me, that's where I'm going to go home and just like, what the heck, man, 15 bucks. Could have had one and slammed some fish. So those are going to be my top 3 topwater baits for you to get started in the 2024 season. Do you have to buy all of them? Not at all. You don't have to buy all of them. If you want to buy all of them, go ahead. Let's just say there were 15, 20, what are we at? 50 bucks just in 3 topwater baits. And these two, for a fact, are going to be durable as heck. This one's going to get you the distance. This one's going to get you the second most distance. This one's wooden. However, this one is going to be probably more reliable than the plastic Tsunami talking popper as far as, you know, not breaking, because this is plastic, wood, heavy plastic. This one's gonna, yeah, not a chance. You're not gonna damage this at all. If anything, you're gonna tie a bad knot and you're gonna lose it. This one is a good walking the dog type thing, a tight walk the dog. This one, the advantages of this is it's cheaper. You can tight walk the dog and also pop it if you wanted to. So now that we know these baits, what rods are we using? What line? What are we doing? I prefer using a heavier rod when I am throwing these heavier baits. You can find some moderate action rods that go up to 3 ounces, but chances are you're gonna want a stiffer rod. So I use the St. Croix Siege medium heavy to moderate fast, which is the 10-6. There's a 10 foot, which is the medium moderate fast, which is my go-to. It's a 10 foot and a 9 foot. I like fishing those two for these. But when it comes to the 3 ounce GT ice cream, I'm gonna prefer the medium heavy moderate fast, just because there's so much weight and there's a really big beefy hook. And with that, it's gonna be far. You know, we're casting far, and chances are the only reason we're using this is because they're far. So I don't want to have a softer rod where if something were to happen where I'm catching fish out far, I can't load that fish with a moderate, where if I'm throwing a 10-6 medium heavy moderate fast, I have more backbone, it's faster action, I'll be able to pull up more line and actually set that hook way out there. If they're really, really close, I'm gonna throw the Tsunami talking popper, and that medium heavy, that moderate fast action rod's gonna be fine, or the regular old moderate. Like, there's a Dark Matter John Skinner 9'2". Love that rod. It's a moderate action rod, and I was catching fish on this, and it felt so good, man. You know, you feel the entirety of it. You feel the tail, the head thrashes, because it's a softer rod. And with these 6-inch ones, they don't have giant hooks on them. So you don't need a big, huge rod or a heavier action rod to be able to set the hook. So a moderate is great for the Tsunami talking poppers if fish are in close. Again, if I'm throwing the Gibbs, chances are I'm around rocks and I need distance. So I'm gonna go with the medium, heavy, moderate, fast. I'll link the Sieges down below. I have a lot of confidence in them. If you want to purchase the exact ones that I'm talking about, they'll all be linked there. As far as line, I typically don't ever go over 30-pound braid. I like the 30-pound because I can, one, get strength out of it and also distance. When you go up to like 40 or 50, your distance is kind of cut down a little bit. If you wanted to throw 40, go ahead. If I'm fishing super sketchy rocks, I might go up to 40, like at Montauk if I'm fishing under the point or under the light. I might throw on 100 feet worth of 40 and then tie my leader to it. But overall, I'm throwing 30-pound braid and then just tying whatever. If there's a lot of blues, I'm gonna throw a 60 to 80-pound mono leader just for reassurance. If I feel confident enough, I'm throwing a 40 to 50-pound no matter what. So when should you throw topwater? My favorite time is when I know there's fish around. So if I start seeing tails going or I see bait jumping out of the water, I'll either throw a bucktail because I know there's fish underneath that bait, or I'm gonna throw the topwater if I see fish jumping and splashing and getting chased. It's just fun. It's more fun doing topwater over a bucktail because you can see fish jumping out. You can see your plug just getting completely blown out of the water. A lot of times stripers, that's how they feed. They'll chase after a bait, turn on it, and then slap it with their tail, and then all of a sudden you see a bunker flying out of the water, or you see your topwater going out, and like, oh, how'd they miss it? He slapped it with his tail. So if I see fish busting, that's when I'm throwing topwater. There's another time, early morning, late late afternoon, right before the sun goes down, until the sun goes down. Mainly because I can still see it. You know, like you can catch fish on topwater in the dark too. With that, I like to do something underwater just because why not? You know, the fun of seeing topwater is why I throw topwater. But fish like to get up a little bit closer to the surface when the sun is still a little low. So in the early morning, late afternoon, early evening, that's when you're going to want to try to throw topwater. Now, where are you throwing it? Flats, drop-offs, current seams, pools. Again, anywhere you see something going on. But those would be my go-to times, go-to areas, go-to rod, reel, line. Reels. I don't know if I mentioned reels. I just like having something, and most likely we're all just gonna have one surf reel, one surf rod. So a 5500 or a 6000 size reel or a VSX 200. I just like to have a lot of line when I'm working the topwater, because when you can pull up a lot more line working, let's say we're just going side to side with it, so we're working our plug like this, I'm able to make a good cadence with the rod and reel with both hands, where I'm pulling up line and I'm able to work that bait back and forth. When you have like a 150 or a 100 Van Staal, or let's say a 45 4000 size surf reel, you're not pulling up a lot, so you're gonna be pop but cranking really quick. So I feel like the 5000, 6000, 200 size Van Staals, those are all good size reels, good gear ratios, and good speeds for cranking in some topwater. And then of course, once you see that topwater, you don't want them to spit it, so you want to get that fish in as quick as possible. So you don't want to go with a small reel. If anything, maybe go a little bit bigger, but you're going to be working a bait, so you don't want to have a heavy reel in your hand either. So that happy medium is what I prefer. Well guys, I hope you learned something from this video. If you have any more questions, just know I'm gonna go in depth onto everything, every video we ever have done so far this year. We're gonna go in depth on the water when there's actually fish around, when it's not blowing 60 miles an hour. I'll teach you guys how to do everything there. So be sure to hit that red subscribe button, especially if you're new. Turn on notifications, that way you get notified. Right now we're doing 1 video a week. We're gonna go to 2, and hopefully we're gonna get to 3. So you don't wanna miss anything, because you miss 1 week or 2 weeks, you're down 6 videos. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button. Also, I have just like every single year on the website, smoochandrelease.com, we have our fishing logs. So it's a free download. I'll link that down below for you as well. It's a template for everything that you're gonna want to record that's gonna help you be a better angler this season, next season, the season after that. So I prefer it. I have it in a 1/2-inch binder, and I printed 50 plus of them. That way I can throw this in my truck and be able to just right off the bat write down everything from every experience, whether I caught fish or not. Next year, when we look back at it, same dates, same patterns, we're gonna be able to say, oh, I caught a fish here during this time last year. And 2 years from now, oh, this pattern worked for the last 2 years. Let's go follow this. The weather says, you know. So being able to record everything other than memory is actually really, really helpful. So it's a free download, free template. Right down below, hit that link. But besides that, guys, like everything, all of these baits, all the rods I talk about, reels, waders, whatever, all gonna be down below. We have that FROGGTOGGS discount for you guys, 15% if you use Paulie15 on the FROGGTOGGS website. You'll save some money there. And when it comes to waders, jackets, and it doesn't just apply to the waders, you know, they have backpacks, tackle boxes, like the like Plano boxes, but FROGGTOGGS, you'll get 15% off of those, wading boots, anything you can imagine, that puffy eyewear, 15%. So if you're looking for something for the spring, go to the FROGGTOGGS website, at least save 15%. And honestly, I trust it. I've been using the gear forever. You can go back and watch the videos. This year, they just so happened to be like, yo, we like what you do. Let's support your viewers. And there it is. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. I can't wait until the season starts. I'm just itching to get back out. And honestly, the weather for the next week or two looks really, really good, but who knows. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. Stay real, smooch and release, and have some fun on the water. We'll see you next time.